Now let's do number 2 from the homework. Matthew answered 40% of the 50 questions correctly. How many did he answer correctly? So the goal is to find 40% of 50. Let's take a look at these 3 marks here. Now 40%, this number is written as a percentage, and it's 40%. It's not 100%, so it's not a whole. It's not even one whole. It's not even half, actually, because half would be 50%. Of, this word of, mathematically is written as a multiplication sign. And then 50 here is 50 wholes. It represents the 50 questions on the test. So what we have to do is rewrite our problem. I've already rewritten of as multiplication. 40% as a fraction could be written as 40 over 100. We don't like to multiply fractions times wholes, so we could change 50 to 50 over 1. That's how it would be written as a fraction. It's still worth 50, it just looks different. And with multiplying fractions, you just multiply straight across. So on the bottom, 100 times 1 is 100, and on the top, 40 times 50 is 2,000. So now we have an answer here. It looks like a fraction bar, and as you know, the fraction bar is actually the word for division. 2,000 hundredths literally says 2,000 divided by 100. So how many 100ths go into 2,000? Now you could divide it, or you could use the zeros trick, because when you have zeros on fractions, they cancel each other out. For every one on the top, it cancels out one on the bottom, and we're left with 20 over 1. 20 divided by 1 is 20. So he answered 20 questions correctly. Now if you look at that, see if it makes sense. What if this was 50%? 50% of 50, half of 50, would be 25. And we're doing a little bit lower, 40% of 50, and the answer is 20. So that makes absolute sense. Now I want to show you how to find the percent of a number using a different method. And I'm going to use number 4 as an example. The sales tax rate was 8%. Brianna bought a math kit for $9.50. How much was the tax on the kit? So just like the last problem, you're looking for a percent of a number. In this case, it's 8% of the $9.50 item. You want to know how much the tax is. Percent of a number. Of, like we mentioned, is the word symbol for multiplication. So you need to multiply 8 times 950. But hold on there. There is something wrong with doing it that way. As you recall, the 950 is just fine. Represents $9.50. The 8, however, would be a problem. You can't multiply times 8 because this is not 8 wholes. In fact, it's 8 hundredths. So you need to put it in the hundredths place, which would be 0.08. So this is how you find a percent of a number when you want to multiply with decimals. So let's go ahead and multiply this out and see what we get. 8 times 0, 8 times 5 carries the 4. 9 times 8 is 72, plus 4 is 76. 7,600. Does that look like a lot of tax to pay on an item that is $9.50? It does, right? That's because we haven't put our decimals. Now, are we supposed to move the decimals straight down when we multiply? No. We learned on lesson 98 that in the past you might have been multiplying like that, and so you would put the decimal down. But this is 2 decimals multiplying each other. And so you count up either how many numbers are there to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, or you count your hops backwards, 1, 2, 3, 4. Regardless, there are 4 hops that need to be made. So you start here and you move over 1, 2, 3, 4, and you place your decimal in the very front. And so you have 0.76, which could be written as 0 with the $sign, 76, or you can just write 76 cents. Now that makes a little bit more sense. 8% is a small amount of $9.50, and 76 cents is correct. Now you could have done this by placing 8/100ths times 950 over 1. I chose not to use a fraction in this because look at what you would end up having to do. You would still have to multiply 8 times 950 and then divide it from a 100 times 1, divide it by 100. It was a lot easier for me to turn this 8 into a decimal in the first place and solve it that way. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.